the ANC mustn't act as if they are the bosses of this thing, because they're not. They got 40%. They mustn't act like they got 50% or 49% and we're just doing you a favor. And I think what the DA and others are trying to do is show up the ANC, which they should. The ANC is corrupt. The ANC is being led by, I believe, a criminal. It's run by criminal elements. So it's good what the DA is doing. But I do not like the DA at all. I've said this on platforms. I do believe they are racist. I do believe they don't really care about the transformation agenda. And I don't think they believe in the investment of black talent in this country for the benefits of the country as a whole. So
I just made an example with this GNU. It's a disastrous marriage, toxic marriage. But none of us are saying anything. I mean, there are people who voted for the ANC, but they've not questioned the ANC because it means that the president of the ANC, President Cyril Ramaphosa, actually lied to the voters because it is quite evident that he anticipated this coalition. But he did not tell those who voted the ANC based on its manifesto that he was going to go to bed with this imperialists, with this racist. He never did that. Now,
let us not be misled. President Zuma had his chance. 9 years as a president. 10 years president of the ANC. Did he take the land? No. Did investors come? No. Did unemployment go down? No.
Yo, what's happening, guys? It's your boy Uncle P. I remember the first time I touched the topic of the GNU, you guys came after me. A lot of you were like, nah, don't touch the GNU, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Some of you even started telling me to go back to my country. Like, damn, why are you guys so mean? So, the first few footages I put up is other people's opinion, not my own, which was similar to what I was saying. Now, I already suspected this from day one. ANC, when it lost majority, it didn't want the EFF, one, Action SA, MK, because there were people in those parties that were going to hold it accountable and not allow it to lead the way it wants to lead. ANC knew it was not going to get power, it was not going to hold a lot of power. And a lot of the high positions that most of its people held, including presidency, was going to be removed. So they opted for something that looks like a GNU. And I told you guys that the GNU is just a coalition because there's only two parties that hold power, which is the DA and the ANC in the GNU. If either one of them is removed, the GNU collapses. And a government of national unity shouldn't collapse if one party leaves. So the major players of the GNU, which is the EFF, Action SA, MK, and all these other parties that were not included. Are you guys getting it now? Those parties that were not included were the major players of the GNU. And many people didn't see it coming. Now, everyone's going to come and bite my ass again. So I got the receipts to let somebody else explain it to you. And then we'll talk.
There have been a lot of concerns around whether or not this actually is a government of national unity or a grand coalition. Is this a government of national unity according to your understanding and the way you negotiated?
Well, if you do the sums, you'll get the answer to that question. I mean, a government of national unity is one that includes all the major parties above a certain threshold. And that would mean it would include MK and the EFF, but it doesn't. So a party really only has muscle if they have the balance of power. Look at the composition, do the sums, and see what it is.
Okay, but Ms. Zille, I'm asking you, according to how you negotiated and your views as the DA federal chair, is this a government of national unity or is this a grand coalition?
We've all agreed to call it a government of national unity.
Okay, you've agreed to call it a government of national unity, but is it?
Well, if you look at it, if all of the other parties except the DA and the ANC were to leave the government, it would make no difference. If the DA pulled out, the government would fall. If the ANC pulled out, the government would fall. That gives you your answer.
So you guys now going to listen now that Helen Zille herself from the DA has spoken. Are you guys now going to listen? Because when I said it, everybody came after me like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not smart enough. They started questioning my intelligence. Oh my God. Guys, I do my research, you know. Guys, listen to Uncle P. Listen to Uncle P. Smoke screen. They are playing us. Now, the ANC has realized one major thing. That right now the DA is making it look bad. Because like I told you guys, the DA is like everything good that happens in the country, the DA now gets credit. Everything bad, the ANC is at fault. By Hambe, the PA gets, Gaten McKenzie gets credit. Ministers, everything good that is happening, every other person is getting credit by the ANC. So this means that in the next election, the ANC is realizing they have effed up. They might just lose complete power. So they're beginning to clean house. And I'll explain to you guys how. The ANC is now protecting its assets. So now the ANC is about to start recruiting all those small parties that is disappointed. Watch the EFF. Just watch the EFF. Watch what's about to happen. I don't know what will happen with the MK and the ANC because the ANC is very afraid to be dealing with MK right now. But watch how it's collecting all the other small parties and giving them positions on certain places just so they can pull out of this so-called GNU. It's not going to survive, guys. It will not survive. And when it collapses, ooh, Lord have mercy. And if it does not collapse, I'm going to let somebody else tell you guys. Because if I speak, your guys going to come after me. Uncle P, Uncle P, talked about your country, Uncle P. You don't know what you're talking about. So maybe if somebody else tells y'all, you know, you're going to listen. Okay?
We are stuck with an organization that is anti-Black economic empowerment, that is anti-transformation. So again, it goes back to this. What is the Black agenda? And that's what I've been trying to figure out. The Black agenda outside of political parties, because clearly there's no single political party that is going to save us. And that is my final analysis, that all political parties now are in parliament and they've got salaries for the next 5 years. They're going to be debating. They're going to come back after 5 years, you know, to make more promises. But in the main, the lives of ordinary Black people are not going to change. And from our side, we don't know how to produce, we consume. So we are, you know, we are going to be stuck in this dilemma in South Africa and the continent.
Now that somebody else has spoken, are you guys listening? In South Africa and the continent. What's the worst part about it is that the continent is coming into South Africa. That means that South Africa is about to end faster than you thought. Because the continent is dying. Guys, this is not a joke, man. The government is not going to save us. It's the people. The people got to act. I'm telling you right now. Border control ain't going to do shit. When the people start doing things, when the people start evacuating people, when people start talking, when people start really making a difference, then the government will have no choice but to act. Because they're all power hungry. These people are going to get paid for 5 years, like you heard. For the next 5 years, they're going to get paid. That moment we're screaming, food prices are going up, petrol is going up. Guys, do you know how much rent costs? Well, I'm not renting, but I know how much rent costs. I own properties. You know, I had to increase rent just because electricity and everything had increased. And I just sat there and I'm thinking, it's not making sense. By the time you increase the rent, you're like, how are these tenants even living? Because you know what kind of jobs they are doing. So you keep the rent the same, and at the end of the day, it's almost like you're just accepting what is given because it is what it is in the end of the day. While the fat pigs are getting fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter. Guys, a luta continua. It's up to you guys, man. I'm doing my part. You question me, I'm bringing you guys the information to show you what really is happening. The whistleblowers or the truth tellers are the first ones to go, just to let your guys know. Once you guys start listening, once this page gets to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 subscribers, 5,000 subscribers, once we start getting big, and people start listening, it's me who becomes in danger, but the truth will always remain the truth. Your guys are going to know. If Uncle P is no more, all of a Sunday, that's because the truth was being spoken. Come back to these videos. There's no need for this page to be cancelled. We ain't talking about nobody. We ain't snitching. I'm your boy Uncle P. A luta continua. See you guys on the next one. Peace.